Demeter. 92 languages. Demeter. Goddess of the harvest, agriculture, fertility, and sacred law. Member of the 12 Olympians. A marble statue of Demeter, National Roman Museum. Abode Mount Olympus. Animals: pig, serpent, gecko, turtle dove, crane, screech owl. Symbol: cornucopia, wheat, torch, poppy, bread. Festivals: Thesmophoria, Eleusinian mysteries. Genealogy. Parents: Cronus and Rhea. Siblings: Hestia, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, Zeus. Consort: Zeus, Poseidon, Eosioin, Carmanor, Mechan. Children: Persephone, Despina, Eubulus, Arion, Plutus, Philonlus, Iacchus, Icheron, Hecate, Orphic. Equivalents. For other uses, see Demeter, disambiguation. This article needs additional citations for verification. Please help improve this article by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. Find sources: Demeter News, Times Newspapers, Times Books, Times Scholar, Times Chester, January 2023. Learn how and when to remove this message. In ancient Greek, religion and mythology. Demeter /Demeter Attic. DMTR. DMTR. Doric. DA with Macron MA with Macron TR, is the Olympian goddess of the harvest and agriculture, presiding over crops, grains, food, and the fertility of the earth. Although Demeter is mostly known as a grain goddess, she also appeared as a goddess of health, birth, and marriage, and had connections to the underworld. 1. She is also called Deo. D. 2. In Greek tradition, Demeter is the Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Roman series. Egyptian Isis. Marble relief of Demeter. Late Classical period, 4th CT. BC. Istanbul Archaeological Museums. Second child of the Titans Rhea and Cronus, and sister to Hestia, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. Like her other siblings except Zeus, she was swallowed by her father as an infant and rescued by Zeus. Through her brother Zeus, she became the mother of Persephone, a fertility goddess and resurrection deity. 3. 4. One of the most notable Homeric hymns, the Homeric hymn to Demeter, tells the story of Persephone's abduction by Hades and Demeter's search for her. When Hades, the king of the underworld, wished to make Persephone his wife, he abducted her from a field while she was picking flowers, with Zeus' leave. Demeter searched everywhere to find her missing daughter, to no avail until she was informed that Hades had taken her to the underworld. In response, Demeter neglected her duties as goddess of agriculture, plunging the earth into a deadly famine where nothing would grow, causing mortals to die. Zeus ordered Hades to return Persephone to her mother to avert the disaster. However, because Persephone had eaten food from the underworld, she could not stay with Demeter forever, but had to divide the year between her mother and her husband, explaining the Seasonal cycle, as Demeter does not let plants grow while Persephone is gone. Her cult titles include Sito, she of the grain, 5, as the giver of food or grain, 6, and Thesmophorus. Thesmos, divine order, unwritten law, phoros, bringer, bearer, giver of customs or legislator, in association with the secret female-only festival called the Thesmophoria. 7. Though Demeter is often described simply as the goddess of the harvest, she presided also over the sacred law and the cycle of life and death. She and her daughter Persephone were the central figures of the Eleusinian mysteries, a religious tradition that predated the Olympian pantheon and which may have its roots in the Mycenaean period c. 1400–1200 BC. 8. Demeter was often considered to be the same figure as the Anatolian goddess Cybele, and she was identified with the Roman goddess Ceres. Etymology, edit. Demeter may appear in linear as the Martyr on 3 documents, RZF 1 and 2, and KYZA 2, all 3 dedicated to religious situations and all 3 bearing just the name, either Martyr on RZF 1 and 2. 9. It is unlikely that Demeter appears as the Martyr in a linear B, Mycenaean Greek, inscription, PYEN 609. The word, the Martyr, probably refers to households. 10. 11. On the other hand, Cytopoteinajae, Potnia of the grain, is regarded as referring to her Bronze Age predecessor or to one of her epithets. 12. Demeter's character as mother goddess is identified in the second element of her name meter, derived from Proto-Indo-European, pi, *metia, mother. 13. In antiquity, different explanations were already proffered for the first element of her name. It is possible that the 14, a word which corresponds to G, gamma, in Attic, is explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Demeter on a didrachm from Paris Island, struck at the Cyclades. The Doric form of de, earth, the old name of the chthonic earth goddess, and that Demeter is mother earth. 15. Liddell and Scott find this improbable, and Beeks writes, there is no indication that the means earth, although it has also been assumed in the name of Poseidon found in the linear B inscription Ene Scyther One. Earth Shaker. 16, 17, 18. John Chadwick also argues that the Da with Macron element in the name of Demeter is not so simply equated with earth. 19. M.L. West has proposed that the word Demeter, initially Dameter, could be a borrowing from an Illyrian deity, attested in the Mesoepic goddess Damatura, with a form Da with Macron, earth, from pi *dg, e.m, attached to Matura. Mother, akin to the Illyrian god Dia Paturus, Dia, sky, attached to Paturus, father. The lesbian form D may simply reflect a different colloquial pronunciation of the non-Greek name. 20. Another theory suggests that the element Da might be connected with Deo, an epithet of Demeter. 21, and it could derive from the Cretan word D, Ionic Zia, variously identified with Emma, spelt, rye, or other grains by modern scholars, so that she is the mother and the giver of food generally. 22, 23. This view is shared by British scholar Jane Ellen Harrison, who suggests that Demeter's name means grain mother, instead of earth mother. 24. An alternative Proto-Indo-European etymology comes through Potnia and Despoina, where des represents a derivative of pi *dem, house, dome, and Demeter is mother of the house, from pi *dems metia. 25. Rs. P. Beeks rejects a Greek interpretation, but not necessarily an Indo-European one. 17. Iconography, edit. Demeter was frequently associated with images of the harvest, including flowers, fruit, and grain. She was also sometimes pictured with her daughter, Persephone. However, Demeter is not generally portrayed with any of her consorts. The exception is Iasioin, the youth of Crete who lay with her in a thrice-ploughed field and was killed afterward by a jealous Zeus with a thunderbolt. Demeter is assigned the zodiac constellation Virgo, the Virgin, by Marcus Manilius in his 1st century Roman work Astronomicon. In art, the constellation Virgo holds Spica, a sheaf of wheat in her hand, and sits beside constellation Leo the lion. 26. In Arcadia, she was known as Black Demeter. She was said to have taken the form of a mare to escape the pursuit of her younger brother, Poseidon, and having been raped by him despite her disguise, she dressed all in black and retreated into a cave to mourn and to purify herself. She was consequently depicted with the head of a horse in this region. 27. A sculpture of the Black Demeter was made by Anatas. 28. Description, edit. In the earliest conceptions of Demeter she is the goddess of grain and threshing, however her functions were extended beyond the fields and she was often identified with the earth goddess, Gaia. Some of the epithets of Gaia and Demeter are similar, showing the identity of their nature. In most of her myths and cults, Demeter is the grain mother or the earth mother. In the older chthonic cults the earth goddess was related to the underworld. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Demeter, enthroned and extending her hand in a benediction toward the kneeling Metaneira, who offers the Trian wheat, c. 340 BC. And in the secret rites, mysteries, Demeter and Persephone share the double function of death and fertility. Demeter is the giver of the secret rites and the giver of the laws of cereal agriculture. She was occasionally identified with the Great Mother Rhea Cybele, who was worshipped in Crete and Asia Minor with the music of cymbals and violent rites. It seems that poppies were connected with the cult of the Great Mother. As an agricultural goddess, edit. In epic poetry and Hesiod's Theogony, Demeter is the grain mother, the goddess of cereals who provides grain for bread and blesses its harvesters. In Homer's Iliad, the blonde Demeter, with the help of the wind, separates the grain from the chaff. 29. Homer mentions the Thalysia, a Greek harvest festival of first fruits in honor of Demeter. 30. In Hesiod, prayers to Zeus, Chthonios, chthonic Zeus, and Demeter help the crops grow full and strong. 31. This was her main function at Eleusis, and she became Pan-Hellenic. In Cyprus, grain harvesting was Damartrision. Demeter was the Zyderus Arua, the Homeric Mother Earth Arua who gave the gift of cereals, Zri. Dri. 32, 33. Most of the epithets of Demeter describe her as a goddess of grain. Her name Deo in literature, 34, probably relates her with Dri, a Cretan word for cereals. In Attica she was called Halos of the threshing floor, according to the earliest conception of Demeter as the corn mother. She was sometimes called Chloe, ripe grain or fresh green, and sometimes Iaulo, Iaulos, grain sheaf. Chloe was the goddess of Young corn and young vegetation and ioloi were harvest songs in honor of the goddess. The reapers called Demeter a Maleferous, bringer of sheaves, and Amma, reaper. The goddess was the giver of abundance of food, and she was known as Sito, of the grain, and Imalis, of abundance. 35. The bread from the first harvest. Fruits was called Thalisean bread, Thalisia, in honor of Demeter. 36. The sacrificial cakes burned on the altar were called Ompniai, and in Attica the goddess was known as Ompnia, related to corns. These cakes were Ufera to all gods. In some fests big loaves, Artwa, were offered to the goddess, and in Gytia she was known as Megalatos, of the big loaf, and Megalamazos, of the big mass, or big porridge. Her function was extended to vegetation generally and to all fruits, and she had the epithets Eucarpos, of good crop, Carpophorus, bringer of fruits, Maleferous, apple bearer, and sometimes Aurea, all the fruits of the season. These epithets show an identity in nature with the earth goddess. 37, 38, 35, 39. The central theme in the Eleusinian mysteries was the reunion of Persephone with her mother, Demeter, when new crops were reunited with the old seed, a form of eternity. According to the Athenian rhetorician Isocrates, Demeter's greatest gifts to humankind were agriculture, which gave to men a civilized way of life, and explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The Eleusinian trio, Persephone, Triptolemus and Demeter, Roman copy dating to the early imperial period and hosted by the Metropolitan Museum of Art, of the Great Eleusinian Relief in the National Archaeological Museum. Athens, marble bas-relief from Eleusis, 444–30 BC. Paelike, Plauton with a cornucopia, and Demeter with a scepter and plough, by the Aurists painter. 440–430 BC. National Archaeological Museum, Athens. The mysteries which give the initiate higher hopes in this life and the afterlife. 40. These two gifts were intimately connected in Demeter's myths and mystery cults. Demeter is the giver of mystic rites and the giver of the civilized way of life, teaching the laws of agriculture. Her epithet Eleusinia relates her with the Eleusinian mysteries. However, at Sparta Eleusinia had an early use, and it was probably a name rather than an epithet. 41. Demeter. Thesmophorus, law-giving, is closely associated to the laws of cereal agriculture. The festival Thesmophoria was celebrated throughout Greece and was connected to a form of agrarian magic. 42. Near Phnus in Arcadia she was known as Demeter Thesmia, lawful, and she received rights according to the local version. 43. Demeter's emblem is the poppy, a bright red flower that grows among the barley. As an earth and underworld goddess, edit. In addition to her role as an agricultural goddess, Demeter was often worshipped more generally as a goddess of the earth, from which crops spring up. Her individuality was rooted to the less developed personality of Gaia, Earth. In Arcadia Demeter Melina, the Black Demeter, was represented as snake-haired with a horse's head holding a dove and dolphin, perhaps to symbolize her power over the underworld, the air, and the water. 44, 45. The cult of Demeter in the region was related to Despoina, a very old chthonic divinity. Demeter shares the double function of death and fertility with her daughter Persephone. Demeter and Persephone were called Despoinai, the mistresses, and Demeters. This duality was also used in the classical period, Thesmophoroi, double-named goddesses, and particularly in an oath, by the two goddesses. 46. In the cult of Phlia she was worshipped as an Isidora who sends up gifts from the underworld. 47, 48, 49. In Sparta, she was known as Demeter Chthonia, chthonic Demeter. After each death the mourning should end with a sacrifice to the goddess. Pausanias believes that her cult was introduced from Hermione, where Demeter was associated with Hades. In a local legend, a hollow in the earth was the entrance to the underworld, by which the souls could pass easily. 50. In Elis she was called Demeter Chamin, goddess of the ground. 35. In an old chthonic cult associated with the descent to Hades. At Levadia the goddess was known as Demeter Europa and she was associated with Trophonius, an old divinity of the underworld. The oracle of Trophonius was famous in the antiquity. 51. Pindar uses the rare epithet Chorkokrotus, bronze-sounding. Brazen musical instruments were used in the mysteries of Demeter, and the Great Mother Rhea Cybele was also worshipped with the music of cymbals. 52. In central Greece Demeter was known as Amphictyonis, of the dwellers round, in a cult of the goddess at Ant-Hel, near Thermopylae, hot gates. She was the patron goddess of an ancient Amphictyony. Thermopylae is the place. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Attic White Calyx Crater 440 to 430 BC. 2. Female figures, probably Demeter and Persephone. Archaeological Museum of Agrigento. Drawing of a gold ring found at Mycenae showing a seated goddess bearing 3 poppy seed cases of hot springs considered to be entrances to Hades, since Demeter was a chthonic goddess in the older local cults. 53. The Athenians called the dead Demetrio. 24, and this may reflect a link between Demeter and the ancient cult of the dead, linked to the agrarian belief that a new life would sprout from the dead body, as a new plant arises from buried seed. This was most likely a belief shared by initiates in Demeter's mysteries. As interpreted by Pindar, blessed is he who has seen before he goes under the earth, for he knows the end of life and knows also its divine beginning. 54. In Arcadia Demeter had the epithets Erinis, fury, and Melina, black, which are associated with the myth of Demeter's rape by Poseidon. The epithets stress the darker side of her character and her relation to the dark underworld, in an old chthonic cult associated with wooden structures, Xona. 39, 35. Erinis had a similar function with the avenging dike, justice. 55. In the mysteries of Phnus the goddess was known as Cydaria. 56. Her priest would put on the mask of Demeter, which was kept secret. The cult may have been connected with both the underworld and a form of agrarian magic. 57. As a poppy goddess, edit. Theocritus described one of Demeter's earlier roles as that of a goddess of poppies. For the Greeks, Demeter was still a poppy goddess, bearing sheaves and poppies in both hands. Idol 7.157. Carl Kerenyi asserted that poppies were connected with a Cretan cult which was eventually carried to the Eleusinian mysteries in classical Greece. In a clay statuette from Gezi, 58, the Minoan poppy goddess wears the seed capsules, sources of nourishment and narcosis, in her diadem. According to Kerenyi, it seems probable that the great mother goddess who bore the names Rhea and Demeter, brought the poppy with her from her Cretan cult to Eleusis, and it is almost certain that in the Cretan cult sphere opium was prepared from poppies. 59. Worship, edit. In Crete, edit. In an older tradition in Crete the vegetation cult was related with the deity of the cave. 60. During the Bronze Age, a goddess of nature dominated both in Minoan and Mycenaean cults. In the Linear B inscriptions Potnia, Potnia refers to the goddess of nature who was concerned with birth and vegetation and had certain chthonic aspects. Some scholars believe that she was the universal mother goddess. 61. A Linear B inscription at Knossos mentions the Potnia of the labyrinth, the Puritajo Potnia. Poseidon was often given the title Wonax, in Linear B. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Terracotta Demeter figurine. Sanctuary of the Underworld. Divinities, Akragas, 550–500 BC. Demeter of Knidos, Hellenistic. Marble sculpture, around 350 BC. Inscriptions in his role as king of the underworld, and his title Ene Scyther One, indicates his chthonic nature. He was the male companion, Pedros, of the goddess in the Minoan and probably Mycenaean cult. 61. In the cave of Amnisos, Enosidon is associated with the cult of Eiletheia, the goddess of childbirth, who was involved with the annual birth of the divine child. 62. Elements of this early form of worship survived in the Eleusinian cult, where the following words were uttered: the mighty Potnia had borne a strong son. On the Greek mainland, edit. Tablets from Pylos of c. 1400 c. 1200 BC. Record sacrificial goods destined for the two queens and Poseidon, to the two queens and the king, Wanasoi, Wana. Kaete. The two queens may be related to Demeter and Persephone or their precursors, goddesses who were no longer associated with Poseidon in later periods. 63. In Pylos, Potnia, mistress, is the major goddess of the city, and Wonax in the tablets has a similar nature with her male consort in the Minoan cult. 61. Potnia retained some chthonic cults, and in popular religion these were related to the goddess Demeter. In Greek religion, Potniae, mistresses, appear in plural, like the Erinyes, and are closely related to the Eleusinian Demeter. 64. Major cults to Demeter are known at Eleusis in Attica, Hermion, in Crete, Megara, Selii, Lerna, Aegila, Munichia, Corinth, Delos, Pren, Akragas, Iasos, Pergamon, Selinus, Tesia, Thuricus, Dion, in Macedonia. 65, Lycosora, Mesembria, Inna, and Samothrace. Probably the earliest Amphictyony centered on the cult of Demeter at Anthel, lay on the coast of Males, south of Thessaly, near Thermopylae. 66, 67. Mysione Demeter had a 7-day festival at Pellon in Arcadia. The geographer Pausanias passed the shrine to Mycenaean Demeter on the road from Mycenae to Argos, and reports that according to Argive tradition, the shrine was founded by an Argive named Mysius who venerated Demeter. 68. As is coin in India, with Demeter and Hermes, 1st century BC. Saint Demetra, edit. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The statue of Saint Demetra, Fitzwilliam Museum. Even after Theodosius I issued the Edict of Thessalonica and banned paganism throughout the Roman Empire, people throughout Greece continued to pray to Demeter as Saint Demetra, patron saint of agriculture. 69. Around 1765–1766, the antiquary Richard Chandler, alongside the architect Nicholas Rivette and the painter William Paz, visited Eleusis and mentioned a statue of a caryatid as well as the folklore that surrounded it. They stated that it was considered sacred by the locals because it protected their crops. They called the statue Saint Demetra, a saint whose story had many similarities to the myth of Demeter and Persephone, except that her daughter had been abducted by the Turks and not by Hads. 70. The locals covered the statue with flowers to ensure the fertility of their fields. 71. This tradition continued until 1865-69, when the statue was forcibly removed by Edward Daniel Clark and donated to the University of Cambridge. 70-71. The statue is now located in the Fitzwilliam Museum, the Art and Antiquities Museum of the University of Cambridge. 72. Festivals, edit. Main articles, Eleusinian Mysteries and Thesmophoria. Demeter's two major festivals were sacred mysteries. Her Thesmophoria festival, 11-13 October, was women only. 73. Her Eleusinian mysteries were open to initiates of any gender or social class. At the heart of both festivals were myths concerning Demeter as the mother and Persephone as her daughter. Conflation with other goddesses, edit. In the Roman period, Demeter became conflated with the Roman agricultural goddess Ceres through Interpretatio Romana. 74. The worship of Demeter has formally merged with that of Ceres around 205 BC, along with the ritus Gratia Cereris, a Greek-inspired form of cult, as part of Rome's general religious recruitment of deities as allies against Carthage, towards the end of the Second Punic War. The cult originated in southern Italy, part of Magna Graecia, and was probably based on the Thesmophoria, a mystery cult dedicated to Demeter and Persephone as mother and maiden. It arrived along with its Greek priestesses, who were granted Roman citizenship so that they could pray to the gods with a foreign and external knowledge, but with a domestic and civil intention. 75. The new cult was installed in the already ancient temple of Ceres, Liber and Libra, Rome's Aventine patrons of the plebs. From the end of the 3rd century BC, Demeter's temple at Ina, in Sicily, was acknowledged as Ceres' oldest, most authoritative cult center, and Libra was recognized as Proserpina, Roman equivalent to Persephone. 76. Their joint cult recalls Demeter's search for Persephone after the latter's abduction into the underworld by Hades. At the Aventine, the new cult took its place alongside the old. It did not refer to Liber, whose open and gender-mixed cult played a central role in plebeian culture as a patron and protector of plebeian rights, freedoms and values. the exclusively female initiates and priestesses of the new Greek-style mysteries of Ceres and Proserpina were expected to uphold Rome's traditional, patrician-dominated social hierarchy and traditional morality. Unmarried girls should emulate the chastity of Proserpina, the maiden. Married women should seek to emulate Ceres, the devoted and fruitful mother. Their rites were intended to secure a good harvest and increase the fertility of those who partook in the mysteries. 77. Beginning in the 5th century BCE in Asia Minor, Demeter was also considered equivalent to the Phrygian goddess Cybele. 78. Demeter's festival of Thesmophoria was popular throughout Asia Minor, and the myth of Persephone and Adonis in many ways mirrors the myth of Cybele and Attis. 79. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Triptolemus, Demeter and Persephone by the Triptolemus painter, c. 470 BC, Louvre. Some late antique sources syncretized several great goddess figures into a single deity. For example, the Platonist philosopher Apuleius, writing in the late 2nd century, identified Ceres, Demeter, with Isis, having her declare I, mother of the universe, mistress of all the elements, firstborn of the ages, highest of the gods, queen of the shades, first of those who dwell in heaven, representing in one shape all gods and goddesses. My will controls the shining heights of heaven, the health-giving sea winds, and the mournful silences of hell. The entire world worships my single Godhead in 1,000 shapes, with divers rites, and under many a different name. The Phrygians, firstborn of mankind, call me the Pessinuntian mother of the gods, the ancient Eleusinians Actaean Ceres, and the Egyptians who excel in ancient learning, honor me with the worship which is truly mine and call me by my true name, Queen Isis. Apuleius, translated by E. J. Kenny. The Golden Ass, 80. Mythology, edit. Lineage, Consorts, and Offspring, edit. 81. Alongside the rest of her siblings, with the exception of her youngest brother Zeus, she was swallowed as a newborn by her father due to his fear of being overthrown by one of his children. She was later freed when Zeus made Cronus disgorge all of his children by giving him a special potion. 82. Demeter is notable as the mother of Persephone, described by both Hesiod and in the Homeric hymn to Demeter as the result of a union with her younger brother Zeus. 83. An alternate recounting of the matter appears in a fragment of the lost Orphic Theogony, which preserves part of a myth in which Zeus mates with his mother, Rhea, in the form of a snake, explaining the origin of the symbol on Hermes' staff. Their daughter is said to be Persephone, whom Zeus, in turn, mates with to conceive Dionysius. According to the Orphic fragments, after becoming the mother of Zeus, she who was formerly Rhea became Demeter. 84, 85. There is some evidence that the figures of the queen of the underworld and the daughter of Demeter were initially considered separate goddesses. 86. However, they must have become conflated by the time of Hesiod in the 7th century BC. 79. Demeter and Persephone were often worshipped together and were often referred to by joint cultic titles. In their cult at Eleusis, they were referred to simply as the goddesses, usually distinguished as the older and the younger. In Rhodes and Sparta, they were worshipped as the Demeters. In the Thesmophoria, they were known as the Thesmophoroi, the legislators. 87. in Arcadia they were known as the great goddesses and the mistresses. 88. In Mycenaean Pylos, Demeter and Persephone were probably called the queens, Wanasoi. 63. Both Homer and Hesiod, writing c. 700 BC, described Demeter making love with the agricultural hero Iasion in a plowed field during the marriage of Cadmus and Harmonia. 89. According to Hesiod, this union resulted in the birth of Plutus. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Pompton relief of Demeter in her aspects of mother goddess and goddess of agriculture. Dionysius, Bacchus, and Demeter, series, antique fresco. In Stabii, 1st century. Hyde. According to Diodorus Siculus, in his Bibliotheca Historica written in the 1st century BC, Demeter and Zeus were also the parents of Dionysius. Diodorus described the myth of Dionysius' double birth, once from the earth, i.e. Demeter, when the plant sprouts, and once from the vine, when the fruit sprouts from the plant. Diodorus also related a version of the myth of Dionysius' destruction by the Titans, sons of Gaia, who boiled him, and how Demeter gathered up his remains so that he could be born a third time. Diod 3.62. Diodorus states that Dionysius' birth from Zeus and his older sister Demeter was somewhat of a minority belief, possibly via conflation of Demeter with her daughter, as most sources state that the parents of Dionysius were Zeus and Persephone, and later Zeus and Semele. 90. Hesiod's Theogony, c. 700 BC, describes Demeter as the second daughter of Cronus and Rhea, and the sister of Hestia, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. In Arcadia, a major Arcadian deity known as Despoina, mistress, was said to be the daughter of Demeter and Poseidon. According to Pausanias, a Thelpusian tradition said that during Demeter's search for Persephone, Poseidon pursued her. Demeter turned into a horse to avoid her younger brother's advances. However, he turned into a stallion and mated with the goddess, resulting in the birth of the horse god Orion and a daughter whose name they are not wont to divulge to the uninitiated. 91. Elsewhere, he says that the Phigalians assert that the offspring of Poseidon and Demeter was not a horse, but Despoina, as the Arcadians call her. 92. In Orphic literature, Demeter seems to be the mother of the witchcraft goddess Hecate. 93. The goddess took Mecon, a young Athenian, as a lover. He was at some point transformed into a poppy flower. 94. The following is a list of Demeter's offspring, by various fathers. Beside each offspring, the earliest source to record the parentage is given, along with the century to which the source, in some cases approximately, dates. Offspring father source date: Persephone, Zeus, His, Theog, 8th cent. BC, 95. Dionysius Diod, Sic, 1st cent. BC, 96. Arion, Despoina Poseidon Paus, 2nd cent. AD, 97. Plutus, Iasion, His, Theog, 8th cent. BC, 98. Philomlus, Hyg, Do, Aster, 1st cent. BC/AD. 99. Hecate no father mentioned. Orphic Fr. 100. Eubulus died. Sick. First cent. BC, 101. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Demeter drives her horse-drawn chariot, containing her daughter Persephone at Salinunt, Sicily, 6th century BC. Demeter rejoiced, for her daughter was by her side. Abduction of Persephone, edit. Main article, Rape of Persephone. Demeter's daughter Persephone was abducted to the underworld by Hades, who received permission from her father Zeus to take her as his bride. Demeter searched for her ceaselessly for 9 days. Preoccupied with her grief, Hecate then approached her and said that, while she had not seen what happened to Persephone, she heard her screams. Together the two goddesses went to Helios, the sun god, who witnessed everything that happened on earth thanks to his lofty position. Helios then revealed to Demeter that Hades had snatched her screaming Persephone to make her his wife with the permission of Zeus, the girl's father. Demeter then, filled with anger, the seasons halted, living things ceased their growth and began to die. 102. Faced with the extinction of all life on earth, Zeus sent his messenger Hermes to the underworld to bring Persephone back. Hades agreed to release her if she had eaten nothing while in his realm, but Persephone had eaten a small number of pomegranate seeds. This bound her to Hades and the underworld for certain months of every year, most likely the dry Mediterranean summer, when plant life is threatened by drought. 103, despite the popular belief that it is autumn or winter. 104, there are several variations on the basic myth. The earliest account, the Homeric hymn to Demeter, relates that Persephone is secretly slipped a pomegranate seed by Hades, 105, and in Ovid's version, 106. Persephone willingly and secretly eats the pomegranate seeds, thinking to deceive Hades, but is discovered and made to stay. Contrary to popular perception, Persephone's time in the underworld does not correspond with the unfruitful seasons of the ancient Greek calendar, nor her return to the upper world with springtime. 107. Demeter's descent to retrieve Persephone from the underworld is connected to the Eleusinian mysteries. 108. The myth of the capture of Persephone seems to be pre-Greek. In the Greek version, Plautos, wealth, represents the wealth of the corn that was stored in underground silos or ceramic jars, pithoi. Similar subterranean pithoi were used in ancient times for funerary practices. At the beginning of the autumn, when the corn of the old crop is laid on the fields, she ascends and is reunited with her mother, Demeter, for at this time, the old crop and the new meet each other. 109. In the Orphic tradition, while she was searching for her daughter, a mortal woman named Borbo received Demeter as her guest and offered her a meal and wine. Demeter declined them both because she mourned the loss of Persephone. Borbo then, thinking she had displeased the goddess, lifted her skirt and showed her genitalia to the goddess, simultaneously revealing Aeacus, Demeter's son. Demeter was most pleased with the sight and delighted she accepted the food and wine. 110. 111, this tale survives in the account of Clement of Alexandria, an early Christian writer who wrote about Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. A Greek terracotta figurine of Borbo, of the face in torso type. Demeter in mourning, marble. Relief from Knossos. Archaeological Museum of Heracleon. Pagan practices and mythology. Several Borbo figurines of women, revealing their vulvas, have been discovered, supporting the story. Demeter at Eleusis, edit. Demeter's search for her daughter Persephone took her to the palace of Seleucus, the king of Eleusis in Attica. She assumed the form of an old woman and asked him for shelter. He took her in, to nurse Demophon and Triptolemus, his sons by Metaneira. To reward his kindness, she planned to make Demophon immortal. She secretly anointed the boy with ambrosia and laid him in the hearth's flames to gradually burn away his mortal self. But Metaneira walked in, saw her son in the fire and screamed in fright. Demeter abandoned the attempt. Instead, she taught Triptolemus the secrets of agriculture, and he, in turn, taught them to any who wished to learn them. Thus, humanity learned how to plant, grow and harvest grain. The myth has several versions, some are linked to figures such as Eleusis, Rarus and Trochilus. The Demophon element may be based on an earlier folk tale. 112. Demeter and Iasioin, edit. Homer's Odyssey, c. late 8th century BC, contains perhaps the earliest direct references to the myth of Demeter and her consort Iasioin, a Samothracian hero whose name may refer to bindweed, a small white flower that frequently grows in wheat fields. In the Odyssey, Calypso describes how Demeter, without disguise, made love to Iasioin. So it was when Demeter of the braided tresses followed her heart and lay in love with Iasioin in the triple furrowed field. Zeus was aware of it soon enough and hurled the bright thunderbolt and killed him. 113. However, Ovid states that Iasioin lived up to old age as the husband of Demeter. 114. In ancient Greek culture, part of the opening of each agricultural year involved the cutting of 3 furrows in the field to ensure its fertility. 115. Hesiod expanded on the basics of this myth. According to him, the liaison between Demeter and Iasioin took place at the wedding of Cadmus and Harmonia in Crete. Demeter, in this version, had lured Iasioin away from the other revelers. Hesiod says that Demeter subsequently gave birth to Plutus. 116. Demeter and Poseidon, edit. In Arcadia, located in what is now southern Greece, the major goddess Despina was considered the daughter of Demeter and Poseidon Hippias, horse Poseidon. In the associated myths, Poseidon represents the river spirit of the underworld, and he appears as a horse, as often happens in Northern European folklore. The myth describes how he pursued his older sister, Demeter, who hid from him among the horses of the king on Chios, but even in the form of a mare, she could not conceal her divinity. Poseidon caught and raped his older sister in the form of a stallion. Demeter was furious at Poseidon's assault. In this furious form, she became known as Demeter Erinis. Her anger at Poseidon drove her to dress all in black and retreat into a cave to purify herself, an act which explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Roman copy of 4th century BC. Greek bust, National Roman Museum. Demeter orders famine to strike Erysichthon, Alicia. Whittlesey collection. Was the cause of a universal famine. Demeter's absence caused the death of crops, livestock, and eventually of the people who depended on them. Later, Arcadian tradition held that it was both her rage at Poseidon and her loss of her daughter caused the famine, merging the two myths. 27. Demeter washed away her anger in the river Ladon, becoming Demeter Lucia, the bathed Demeter. 117. In her alliance with Poseidon Kerenei noted, 118, she was earth, who bears plants and beasts, and could therefore assume the shape of an ear of grain or a mare. Moreover, she bore a daughter Despoina, the mistress, whose name should not be uttered outside the Arcadian mysteries, 119, and a horse named Orion, with a black mane and tail. At Phegalia, a Xenon, wood-carved statue of Demeter was erected in a cave which, tradition held, was the cave into which Black Demeter retreated. The statue depicted a Medusa-like figure with a horse's head and snake-like hair, holding a dove and a dolphin, which probably represented her power over air and water. 120. The second mountain, Mount Elias, is some 30 stades away from Phegalia, and has a cave sacred to Demeter surnamed Black. The Phegalians say, they concluded that this cavern was sacred to Demeter, and set up in it a wooden image. The image, they say, was made after this fashion. It was seated on a rock, like to a woman in all respects save the head. She had the head and hair of a horse, and there grew out of her head images of serpents and other beasts. Her tunic reached right to her feet, on one of her hands was a dolphin, on the other a dove. Now why they had the image made after this fashion is plain to any intelligent man who is learned in traditions. They say that they named her Black because the goddess had black apparel. They cannot relate either who made this wooden image or how it caught fire. But the old image was destroyed, and the Phegalians gave the goddess no fresh image, while they neglected for the most part her festivals and sacrifices, until the barrenness fell on the land. Pausanias, 8.42.14. Demeter and Erysichthon, edit. Another myth involving Demeter's rage resulting in famine is that of Erysichthon, king of Thessaly. 27. The myth tells of Erysichthon ordering all of the trees in one of Demeter's sacred groves to be cut down, as he wanted to build an extension of his palace and hold feasts there. One tree, a huge oak, was covered with votive wreaths, symbols of the prayers Demeter had granted, so Erysichthon's men refused to cut it down. The king used an axe to cut it down, killing a dryad nymph in the process. The nymph's dying words were a curse on Erysichthon. Demeter punished the king by calling upon Limos, the spirit of unrelenting and insatiable hunger, to enter his stomach. The more the king ate, the hungrier he became. Erysichthon sold all his possessions to buy food but was still hungry. Finally, he sold his daughter, Mestra, into slavery. Mestra was freed from slavery by her former lover, Poseidon, who gave her the gift of shape-shifting into any creature to escape her bonds. Erysichthon used her Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Demeter in an ancient Greek fresco from Pantikapaeum, 1st century Crimea. shape-shifting ability to sell her numerous times to make more money to feed himself, but no amount of food was enough. Eventually, Erysichthon ate himself. 121. In a variation, Erysichthon tore down a temple of Demeter, wishing to build a roof for his house. She punished him the same way, and near the end of his life, she sent a snake to plague him. Afterwards, Demeter put him among the stars, the constellation Ophiuchus, as she did the snake, to continue to inflict its punishment on Erysichthon. 122. In the Pergamon altar, which depicts the battle of the gods against the giants, Gigantomachia, survive remains of what seems to have been Demeter fighting a giant labeled Erysichthon. 123. Demeter is also depicted fighting against the giants next to Hermes in the Sucella Gigantomachia vase, now housed in the Louvre Museum. 124. Usually, ancient depictions of the Gigantomachia tend to exclude Demeter due to her non-martial nature. 125. Wrath Myths, edit. While traveling far and wide looking for her daughter, Demeter arrived exhausted in Attica. A woman named Mism took her in and offered her a cup of water with penna oil and barley groats, for it was a hot day. Demeter, in her thirst, swallowed the drink clumsily. Witnessing that, Mism's son Ascalabus laughed, mocked her, and asked her if she would like a deep jar of that drink. 126. Demeter then poured her drink over him and turned him into a gecko, hated by both men and gods. It was said that Demeter showed her favor to those who killed geckos. 127. Before Hades abducted her daughter, he had kept the nymph Minth as his mistress. But after he married Persephone, he set Minth aside. Minth would often brag about being lovelier than Persephone and say Hades would soon come back to her and kick Persephone out of his halls. Demeter, hearing that, grew angry and trampled Minth. From the earth then sprang a lovely-smelling herb named after the nymph. 128. In other versions, Persephone herself is the one who kills and turns Minth into a plant for sleeping with Hades. 129, 130, 131. In an Argive myth, when Demeter arrived in Argolis, a man named Colontes refused to receive her in his house, whereas his daughter Cthunia disapproved of his actions. Colontes was punished by being burnt along with his house, while Demeter took Cthunia to Hermione, where she built a sanctuary for the goddess. 132. Demeter pinned Ascalaphus under a rock for reporting, as sole witness, to Hades that Persephone had consumed some pomegranate seeds. 133. Later, after Heracles rolled the stone off Ascalaphus, Demeter turned him into a short-eared owl instead. 134. Demeter also turned the sirens into half-bird monsters for not helping her daughter Persephone when she was abducted by Hades. 135. Once, the Colchian princess Mede ended a famine that plagued Corinth by making sacrifices to Demeter and the nymphs. 136. Favor Myths, edit. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Head of a statue of Demeter, marble. Roman Imperial period, 2nd century CE. Statue of Demeter by Leonidas Drosis in the facade of the Academy of Athens, Greece. Demeter gave Triptolemus her serpent-drawn chariot. One of the serpents that drew this chariot was Cycreds, and seed and bade him scatter it across the earth, teach humankind the knowledge of agriculture. Triptolemus rode through Europe and Asia until he came to the land of Lyncus, a Scythian king. Lyncus pretended to offer what's accustomed of hospitality to him, but once Triptolemus fell asleep, he attacked him with a dagger, wanting to take credit for his work. Demeter then saved Triptolemus by turning Lyncus into a lynx and ordered Triptolemus to return home airborne. 137. Hyginus records a very similar myth, in which Demeter saves Triptolemus from an evil king named Carnabon, who additionally seized Triptolemus' chariot and killed one of the dragons. So he might not escape, Demeter restored the chariot to Triptolemus, substituted the dead dragon with another one, and punished Carnabon by putting him among the stars holding a dragon as if to kill it. 138. During her wanderings, Demeter came upon the town of Phnus. To the Phneates that received her warmly and offered her shelter, she gave all sorts of pulse, except for beans, deeming it impure. 139. Two of the Phneates, Trisales and Damithales, had a temple of Demeter built for her. 140. Demeter also gifted a fig tree to Phytalus, an Eleusinian man, for welcoming her in his home. 141. In the tale of Eros and Psyche, Demeter, along with her sister Hera, visited Aphrodite, raging with fury about the girl who had married her son. Aphrodite asks the two to search for her. The two try to talk sense into her, arguing that her son is not a little boy, although he might appear as one, and there's no harm in him falling in love with Psyche. Aphrodite took offense at their words. 142. Some time later, Psyche in her wanderings came across an abandoned shrine of Demeter, and sorted out the neglected sickles and harvest implements she found there. As she was doing so, Demeter appeared to her and called from afar. She warned the girl of Aphrodite's great wrath and her plan to take revenge on her. Then Psyche begged the goddess to help her, but Demeter answered that she could not interfere and incur Aphrodite's anger at her, and for that reason, Psyche had to leave the shrine or else be kept as a captive of hers. 143. When her son Philonous invented the plough and used it to cultivate the fields, Demeter was so impressed by his good work that she immortalized him in the sky by turning him into a constellation, the Boötes. 144. Hierax, a man of justice and distinction, set up sanctuaries for Demeter and received plenteous harvests from her in return. When the tribe neglected Poseidon's favor of Demeter, the sea god destroyed all of her crops, so Hierax sent them instead his own food and was transformed into a hawk by Poseidon. 145. Besides giving gifts to those who were welcoming to her, Demeter was also a goddess who nursed the young. All of Plomeus's children born by his first wife died in a Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Show. Cradle, Demeter took pity on him and reared herself his son Orthopolis. 146. Plomeus built a temple to her to thank her. 147. Demeter also raised Trophonius, the prophetic son of either Apollo or Erginus. 148. Other accounts, edit. Demeter seems to have accompanied Dionysius when he descended into the underworld to retrieve his mother Semele in order to visit her now married daughter, and perhaps lead her back to the land of the living for the remainder of the year. 149, 150. In many vases from Athens, Dionysius is seen in the company of mother and daughter. 151. Once Tantalus, a son of Zeus, invited the gods over for dinner. Tantalus, wanting to test them, cut his son Pelops, cooked him and offered him as a meal to them. They all saw through Tantalus' crime except Demeter, who ate Pelops' shoulder before the gods brought him back to life. 152. Genealogy, edit. Demeter's family tree, 153. See also, edit. Family tree of the Greek gods. Greek mythology in popular culture. Isis and Osiris. Demophon of Eleusis. Notes, edit. 1 Merriam-Webster's Encyclopedia of Literature. Merriam-Webster. 1995 p. 314. ISBN 9780877790426. 2 3 Lorena Laura Stuckey, Thematic Guide to World Mythology, p. 99. 4 Lee W. Bailey, Dying and Rising Gods in, David A. Leeming, Catherine Madden and Stanton Mullen, eds. Encyclopedia of Psychology and Religion, 2009, ISBN 0387718001X Springer, pages 266267. 5 Compare Sigma. Liddell, Henry George, Scott, Robert, A Greek-English Lexicon at the Perseus Project. 6 Eustathius of Thessalonica, Scholia on Homer, 265. 7 The Broadview Anthology of Social and Political Thought, Volume 2, The 20th Century and Beyond. Broadview Press. p. 643. 8 John Chadwick, The Mycenaean World. Cambridge University Press, 1976. 9 Whitehouse, L.A., B. The Marte equals Demeter. Sur la langue du linéaire minus 29/30, 1994-1995-289294. 10 Whitehouse and Amor Pergo Davies, Companion to Linear B, Volume 2, 2011, p. 26. But c. Ventris/Chadwick, Documents in Mycenaean Greek p.242, b. Dietrich, 2004 The Origins of the Greek Religion Bristol. Phoenix Press. p.172. 11 The Marte. Mediterranean. Minoan Linear and Mycenaean Linear B archived from the original on the 18th of March. 2016 retrieved the 13th of March, 2014. PY 609 EN, 1. GMOS, Database of Mycenaean at Oslo. University of Oslo. 12 Inscription Myoi 701. Cytopotina J. Mediterranean. Minoan Linear and Mycenaean Linear B archived from the original on the 20th of March, 2016. Retrieved the 13th of March, 2014. The Linear B Word Cyto. Paleolexicon. Word Study. Tool of Ancient Languages. My 701 OI, 63. GMOS, Database of Mycenaean at Oslo. University of Oslo. Compare Sigma. 13 Mother Origin and Meaning of Mother by Online Etymology Dictionary. etymonline.com Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 14 in Liddell and Scott. 15 Demeter origin and meaning of the name Demeter by Online Etymology Dictionary. etymonline.com. 16 Liddell, Henry George, Scott, Robert, an intermediate Greek-English lexicon at the Perseus Project. 17 ABRSP Beeks. Etymological Dictionary of Greek, Brill, 2009, p. 324. 18 Adams, John Paul, Mycenaean Divinities List of Handouts for California State University Classics 315. Retrieved 7 March 2011. 19 Chadwick, The Mycenaean World, Cambridge University Press, 1976, p. 87. Every Greek was aware of the maternal functions of Demeter. If her name bore the slightest resemblance to the Greek word for mother, it would inevitably have been deformed to emphasize that resemblance. How did it escape transformation into *GA with macron MA with macron TR, a name transparent to any Greek speaker? Compare the Latin transformation Iapita and Diespita vis-a-vis * Deus Pater. 20 West 2007, p. 176. The dash, however, cannot be explained from Greek. But there is a Mesapic Damatira or Damatira, and she need not be dismissed as borrowing from Greek. She matches the Illyrian Depatirus both in the agglutination and in the transfer to the thematic declension, OS.A. It is noteworthy that sporadic examples of a thematically declined are found in inscriptions. Dameter/Demeter could therefore be borrowing from Illyrian. An Illyrian DA with macron may be derived from *DG, E.M. 21 Orphic hymn 40 to Demeter, translated by Thomas Taylor, O Universal Mother Deo famed, August, the source of wealth and various names. 22 compares Sanskar. Java, lit. Yahweh, is probably derived from F. Martin Nilsson, Geschichte der Griechischen Religion, Volume I, Verlag C.H. Beck, pp. 461462. 23 Harrison, Jane Ellen, 5 September 1908. Prolegomena to the Study of Greek Religion. Cambridge, N. The University Press via Internet Archive. 24 AB Myths of Greece and Rome, Demeter and Persephone, Ceres and Proserpine. Sacredtexts.com. 25 Frisk, Griechisches Etymological Woaterbuch. Entry 1271. 26 Stott, Carol, 1 August 2019. Planisphere and Starfinder, pp. 69. Dorling Kindersley Limited. ISBN 978-0-241-42169. 7. 27 ABC Simon Hornblower, Anthony Sporforth, Esther Idenow, eds. The Oxford Companion to Classical Civilization. OUP Oxford, 2014, Pausanias, 8.42.14. 28 Pausanias, 8.42.7. 29 Homer, Iliad, Book 5, line 493. www.perseus.tufts.edu. 30 Iliad 9.534. 31 Hesiod Works and Days, 465. 32 Nilsson, 1967, Geschichte Vol I, 461466. 33 carat Henry George Liddell, Robert Scott, A Greek-English Lexicon. www.perseus.tufts.edu. 34 carat Sophocles, Antigone, line 1115. www.perseus.tufts.edu. 35 carat ABCD Stormyth in GRBS 48, 2008, 116 to 117. 36 carat Nilsson, 1967, Chess-cheeked volley, 468. 37 carat Fonnell, Louis Richard, the 20th of May, 1907. Cults of the Greek States Volume 3 via Internet Archive. 38 carat Nilsson, 1967, Chess-cheeked volley, 412, 467478. 39 carat A.B. Cole, 1994, In Placing the Gods 201202. 40 carat Isaac Rates, Pangaricus 4.28, When Demeter came to our land, in her wandering after the rape of Kura, and, being moved to kindness towards our ancestors by services which may not be told save to her initiates, gave these two gifts. The greatest in the world, the fruits of the earth, which have enabled us to rise above the life of the beasts, and the holy right, which inspires in those who partake of it sweeter hopes regarding both the end of life and all eternity. 41 carat Robertson in GRBS 37, 1996, pp. 351, 377378. 42 carat Burkert, 1985, 244. 43 carat Stormyth in GRBS 48, 2008, 127. 44 carat Jeffery, 1976, 23. 45 carat Pausanias 8.42.14. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 46 carat Stormyth in GRBS 48, 2008, 118119. 47 carat Anasidora, inscribed against her figure on a white ground Kylix in the British Museum, BM 1881,0528.1, from Nola. Painted by the Tarquinian painter, ca 474-60 BC, British Museum online catalogue entry. 48 carat Hesychius of Alexandria SV. 49 carat Scholiast, on Theocritus 2. 12. 50 carat Fonnell Cults 3, 48-49 Fonnell 3,48. 51 carat Fonnell Cults 3,30-31 Fonnell 330. 52 carat Rorbit Shek Jane Beers, in MVSE Volume 31-32, 1997-1998, 53. MVSE, 1997-1998, 53. 53 carat Jeffery, 1976, The City-States, 72-73. 54 carat John Ernest Leonard Alton, 1954. Alexandrian Christianity, The Library of Christian Classics, Volume 2. Westminster Press. p. 48, and Pindar speaks of the Eleusinian mysteries as follows: Blessed is he who has seen before he goes under the earth, for he knows the end of life and knows also its divine beginning. 55 carat cm. Bora, 1957, 87, 169. 56 carat Pausanias 8.15.3. 57 carat Nilsson, Chess-cheeked vol. IP 477 to 478. 58 carat Heraclean Museum, Kerenii 1976, Fig. 15. 59 Kereni I 1976, p. 25. 60 Dietrich p. 169. 61 ABC Dietrich, pp. 181185. 62 Dietrich, p. 141. 63 AB Wanasoi, Wanakaete, to the two queens and the king. Wanax is best suited to Poseidon, the special divinity of Pylos. The identity of the two divinities addressed as Wanasoi is uncertain. George Mlanis, 1966, Mycenae and the Mycenaean Age, p. 159, Princeton University Press. 64 Dietrich, pp. 189 to 190. 65 Cohen, Art in the Era of Alexander the Great, Paradigms of Manhood and Their Cultural Traditions, Cambridge University Press, 2010, p. 213. Google Book Preview. 66 L. H. Jeffery, 1976, Archaic Greece, the City-States c. 700–500 BC. Ernest Benn Limited, London and Tunbridge pp. 72. 73, 78 ISBN 0-510-03271-0. 67 The Parian Marble. Entry No. 5, when Amphictyon son of Helen became king of Thermopylae, brought together those living round the temple and named them Amphictyons. 1. 68 Pausanias, 7.27.9. 69 A.B. Keller, Mara Lynn, 1988. The Eleusinian Mysteries of Demeter and Persephone, Fertility, Sexuality, and Rebirth. Journal of Feminist Studies in Religion. 4. 12754. ISSN 8755-4178. JSTOR 25002068. 70 AB Cosmopoulos, Michael B. 2015. Bronze Age Eleusi and the Origins of the Eleusinian Mysteries. Cambridge University Press. p. 35. ISBN 978-1-316-36823-7. 71 AB Sharma, Arvind, 2005. Goddesses and Women in the Indic Religious Tradition. Brill. p. 47. ISBN 978-90-04. 12466-0. 72 Upper part of a Caryatid, gr.1.1865. The Fitzwilliam Museum. The University of Cambridge. Retrieved. 23 September, 2024. 73 Benko, Stephen, The Virgin Goddess, Studies in the Pagan and Christian Roots of Mariology, Brill, 2004, Note 111 on. pp. 63-4, and p. 175. 74 La Rouse Desk Reference Encyclopedia, The Book People, Haydock, 1995, p. 215. 75 Speth, Barbet Stanley, The Roman Goddess Series, University of Texas Press, 1996, pp. 4, 613, citing Arnobius, who mistakes this as the first Roman cult to Ceres. His belief may reflect its high profile and ubiquity during the later imperial period and possibly the fading of older, distinctively Aventine forms of her cult. 76 Sheed, John, Greco-Richu, a typically Roman way of honoring the gods. Harvard Studies in Classical Philology. 97, Greece in Rome, Influence, Integration, Resistance, 1995, 23p. 77 Speth, Barbet Stanley, The Roman Goddess Series, University of Texas Press, 1996, pp. 13, 15, 60, 94, 97. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 78 your.hell.130145 and melanipid.764 pmg. 79 a beaker/Persephone. Encyclopedia of the Hellenic World, Asia Minor. http://asiamina.a.gr/forms/phlemabody. ASPX, lemma ID equals 10541 #note_11. 80 Apuleius, 1998. The Golden Ass. Penguin Classics. 81 Hesiod, Theogony 453455, Hard, p. 67. 82 Grimmel, SV. Cronus. 83 Hesiod, Theogony 912, Homeric Hymn to Demeter, 2. 84 Proclus, Commentary on Plato's Cratylus 403e, 90, 28 Pascu. Equals Orphic FR 145 Kern, West 1983, p. 217. 85 Kereni I 1976, p. 112. 86 Zuntz, G. Persephone. 3 Essays in Religion and Thought in Magna Graecia, Oxford, 1971, p. 75-83. 87 Martin Nilsson, 1967, Digestschicht der Griechische Religion pp. 463, 477. 88 Martin Nilsson, 1967, Digestschicht der Griechische Religion pp. 463-465. 89 Homer, Odyssey 5.125, Hesiod, Theogony 969974. 90 Diodorus Siculus, Book 3. 91 Pausanias, 8.28.57. 92 Pausanias, 8.42.1. 93 Orphic FR. 400 IP 334, equals FR 41 Kern equals Scholia on Apollonius of Rhodes, 3.467, 402, IP 334, Bernabe, equals FR 42 Kern equals Scholia on Theocritus, 2.12. 94 Smith, SV. Meccan, Servius on Virgil's Georgics 1.212. 95 Gantz, p. 64, Hesiod, Theogony 912914. 96 Smith, SV. Demeter, Diodorus Siculus, 3.62.5, Scholiast on Pindar, Pythia nodes 3.177, non-primary source needed. 97 Trip, SV. Arian or Iron, p. 101, Pausanias, 8.25.7. 98 Morford, p. 339, Hesiod, Theogony 969-974. 99 Brill's New Pauli, SV. Philomlus, 1, Hyginus, De Astronomica 2.4.7. 100 Orphic FR. 400 IP 334, equals FR 41 Kern equals Scholia on Apollonius of Rhodes, 3.467, 402, IP 334, Bernabe, equals FR 42 Kern equals Scholia on Theocritus, 2.12. 101 Diodorus Siculus, 5.76.3. 102 Kereni I 1951, pp. 232241 and notes 784798. 103 As in Burkert, Greek Religion, Harvard, 1985, p. 160. 104 Martin Nilsson, The Greek Popular Religion, The Religion of Eleusis, pp. 51-54. Sacredtexts.com. 105 Homeric Hymn to Demeter. www.ur.edu. 106 Ovid, Metamorphoses, Book V, LN 533571. 107 Graph, Demeter in Brill's New Pauli. 108 The Eleusinian Mysteries, The Rites of Demeter. World History Encyclopedia. Retrieved 27 April, 2019. 109 Martin Nilsson, Greek Popular Religion. pp. 48-50. 110 Clement of Alexandria, Exhortation to the Greeks 2.11, Grimmel, S.V. Borbo. 111 Graves, p. 92. 112 Nilsson, 1940, p. 50. The Demophon story in Eleusis is based on an older folktale motif which has nothing to do with the Eleusinian cult. It is introduced to let Demeter reveal herself in her divine shape. 113 Homer, Odyssey 5.125 ff, trans. Schring. 114 Smith, S.V. Eosioin, Ovid, Metamorphoses 9.421. 115 Eosioin, Greek demigod of the Samothracian mysteries. www.thea.com. 116 Hesiod, Theogony 969, 974, Gantz, p. 64, Tripp, S.V. Eosioin, Oxford Classical Dictionary, S.V. Eosioin. 117 Other ritually bathed goddesses were Argive, Hera and Cybele. Aphrodite renewed her own powers bathing herself in the sea. 118 Kereni I 1951, p. 185. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 119 In Arcadia, she was also a second goddess in the mysteries of her daughter, the Unnameable, who was invoked only as Despoina, the mistress. Kereni I 1967, pp. 31 ff, citing Pausanias, 8.37.9. 120 L. H. Jeffery, 1976. Archaic Greece, the Greek city-states c. 800 to 500 BC. Ernest Ben Limited, 23 PISBN 0-510. 03271-0. 121 Ovid, Metamorphoses 8.738878, Callimachus, Hymn 6 to Demeter 34 ff. 122 Hyginus, De Astronomica 2.14.4. 123 Mackay, p. 93. 124 Luva S 1677, Vaz. www.perseus.tufts.edu. Tufts University. Retrieved 22 February, 2023. 125 Smith and Plantsos 2018, p. 409. 126 Ovid, Metamorphoses 5.446-461, Antoninus Liberalis, Metamorphoses 24, Tripp, S.V. Ascalabus. 127 Antoninus Liberalis, Metamorphoses 24. 128 Oppian, Haleutica 3.485 ff. 129 Strabo, Geographica 8 March 2014. 130 Scholia ad Nicandria Lexipharmaca 375. 131 Ovid, Metamorphoses 10.728. 132 Pausanias, Description of Greece 2.35.4. 133 Apollodorus, 1.5.3. 134 Apollodorus, the 2nd of May 2012. 135 Hyginus, Fabulae 141. 136 Scholia on Pindus Olympia Nodes 13.74. 137 Ovid, Metamorphoses 5.642-678. 138 Hyginus, De Astronomica 2.14.2. 139 Pausanias, 8.15.3. 140 Pausanias, 8.15.4. 141 Pausanias, 1.37.2, Grimmel, S.V. Phytolus, p. 373. 142 Apuleius, the Golden Ass 5.28-31. 143 Apuleius, the Golden Ass 6.1-4. 144 Hyginus, De Astronomica 2.4.7, Grimmel, S.V. Philomlus, p. 366. 145 Antoninus Liberalis, Collection of Transformations 3. 146 Pausanias, 2.5.8. 147 Pausanias, 2.11.2. 148 Pausanias, 9.39.5, Grimmel, S.V. Trophonius, pp. 459-460. 149 Kerenii 1967, pp. 42-43. 150 J. Paul Getty Museum 1983, p. 31, especially note 58. 151 J. Paul Getty Museum 1983, p. 30. 152 Lycophron, Alexandra 152-155, Hyginus, Fabulae 83, Grimmel, S.V. Pelops. 153 This chart is based upon Hesiod's Theogony, unless otherwise noted. 154 according to Homer, Iliad 1.57579, 14.338, Odyssey 8.312, Hephaestus was apparently the son of Hera and Zeus, see Gantz, p. 74. 155 according to Hesiod, Theogony 927929, Hephaestus was produced by Hera alone, with no father, see Gantz, p. 74. 156 according to Hesiod, Theogony 886890, of Zeus' children by his 7 wives, Athena was the first to be conceived, but the last to be born. Zeus impregnated Metis, then swallowed her. Later Zeus himself gave birth to Athena. From his head, see Gantz, pp. 51-52, 83-84. 157 according to Hesiod, Theogony 183-200, Aphrodite was born from Uranus' severed genitals, see Gantz, pp. 99. 100. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 158 carat. According to Homer, Aphrodite was the daughter of Zeus, Iliad 3.374, 20.105, Odyssey 8.308, 320, and Dion, Iliad 5.370-71, see Gantz, pp. 99-100. References, edit. Antoninus Liberalis, The Metamorphoses of Antoninus Liberalis, translated by Francis Soloria, Routledge. 1992. Online version at the Topos Text Project. Apollodorus, The Library, with an English translation by Sir James George Fraser, FBA, FRS. In 2 volumes. Cambridge, Ma, Harvard University Press, London, William Heinemann Limited 1921. Online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Apuleius, The Golden Ass, or Metamorphoses. E. J. Kenny. 2004. London, Penguin Books. Bernabe, Alberto, 1996. Bernabe, Alberto, ed. Poetae Epici Graeci, Testimonia et Fragmenta, Pars I. Bibliotheca Tpneriana. Stuttgart and Leipzig, Tpno. Do. 10.15/9783110936995. ISBN 978-3-815. 41706-5. Burkert, Walter, Greek Religion, Harvard University Press, 1985. ISBN 0-674-36281-0. Kaulimachus and Lycophron with an English translation by A. W. Mayer, Aratus, with an English translation by G. R. Mayer, London, W. Heinemann, New York, G. P. Putnam 1921. Internet Archive. Cole.s.g. Demeter in the Ancient Greek City and the Countryside in EDSS Alcock, R. Osborne placing the Gods. Sanctuaries and Secret Spaces in Ancient Greece, Oxford 1994, p. 199-216. Diodorus Siculus, Library of History, Volume 3, Books 4.59-8, translated by C. H. Oldfather, Loeb Classical. Library No. 340. Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, 1939. ISBN 978-0-674-99375-4. Online version at Internet Archive. Online version by Bill Thayer. Fonnell Lewis Richard, The Cults of the Greek City-States Vol. 3, Oxford at the Clarendon Press. 1907. Gantz, Timothy, Early Greek Myth, A Guide to Literary and Artistic Sources, Johns Hopkins University Press. 1996, 2 volumes, ISBN 978-0-8018-5360-9, Volume 1, ISBN 978-0-8018-5362-3, Volume 2. Graf, Fritz. Demeter Brill's New Pauli, ed. Hubert Kanseek and it al. Brill reference online. Web. 27. September 2017. Graves, Robert, The Greek Myths, Moya Bell Limited, Unabridged Edition, December 1988, ISBN 0-918825-80. 6. Grimmel, Pierre, The Dictionary of Classical Mythology, Huyler Blackwell, 1996. ISBN 978-0-631-20102-1. Haleutica in Oppian, Calathus, Triphyodorus. Oppian, Calathus, and Triphyodorus. Translated by a W. Mehr. Loeb Classical Library 219. Cambridge, Ma, Harvard University Press, 1928. Online version at Topos Text. Hart, Robin, The Routledge Handbook of Greek Mythology, based on H.J. Rose's Handbook of Greek Mythology, Psychology Press, 2004, ISBN 9780415186360. Google Books. Harrison, Jane Ellen, 1908, Prolegomena to the Study of Greek Religion, 2nd edition, Cambridge. Cambridge University Press, 1908. Internet Archive. Harrison, Jane Ellen, 1928, Myths of Greece and Rome, Garden City, New York, Doubleday, Doran and Company, Inc., 1928. Online version at Internet Sacred Text Archive. Hesiod, Theogony, in the Homeric Hymns and Homerica with an English translation by Hugh G. Evelyn White, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, London, William Heinemann Limited 1914. Online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Hesiod, Works and Days, in the Homeric Hymns and Homerica with an English translation by Hugh G. Evelyn White, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, London, William Heinemann Limited 1914. Online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Homer, The Iliad with an English translation by A.T. Murray, Ph.D. in 2 volumes. Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, London, William Heinemann, Limited 1924. Online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Homer, The Odyssey with an English translation by A.T. Murray, Ph.D. in 2 volumes. Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, London, William Heinemann, Limited 1919. Online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Homeric Hymn 2 to Demeter, in the Homeric Hymns and Homerica with an English translation by Hugh G. Evelyn White, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, London, William Heinemann Limited 1914. Online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Hyginus, Gaius Julius, Fabulae, in the Myths of Hyginus, edited and translated by Maria Grant, Lawrence. University of Kansas Press, 1960. Online version at Topos Text. Hyginus, Gaius Julius, Astronomica from the Myths of Hyginus translated and edited by Mary Grant. University of Kansas Publications in Humanistic Studies. Online version at the Topos Text Project. Kerenyi, Carl, 1951, The Gods of the Greeks, Thames and Hudson, London, 1951. Kerenyi, Carl, 1967, Eleusi, Archetypal Image of Mother and Daughter, Princeton University Press, 1991. ISBN 9780691019154. Kerenyi, Carl, 1976, Dionysos, Archetypal Image of Indestructible Life, Princeton University Press, 1996. ISBN 9780691029153. Kern, Otto. Orphicorum Fragmenta, Berlin, 1922. Internet Archive. Lycophron, Alexandra in Callimachus and Lycophron with an English translation by a W. Mayer, Aratus, with an English translation by G. R. Mayer, London, W. Heinemann, New York, G. P. Putnam 1921. Internet Archive. Mackay, Kenneth John, Erysichthon, Brill Archive, 1962. Morford, Mark P. O., Robert J. Lenardon, Classical Mythology, 8th edition, Oxford University Press, 2007. ISBN 978-0-19-530805-1. Martin P. Nilsson, Greek Popular Religion, 1940. Sacredtexts.com. Nilsson Martin P. Digestschicht der griechischen Religion Vol. I, C.H. Becks Verlag München, 1967. Ovid. Metamorphoses, Volume I, Books 1-8. Translated by Frank Justice Miller. Revised by G. P. Gould. Loeb. Classical Library No. 42. Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, 1977, first published 1916. ISBN 978-0-674-99046-3. Online version at Harvard University Press. The Oxford Classical Dictionary, 2nd edition, Hammond, N.G.L. and Howard Hayes Scullard, editors. Oxford University Press, 1992. ISBN 0-19-869117-3. Pausanias Description of Greece with an English translation by W.H.S. Jones, lit.d, and H.A. Ormerod, M.A., in 4 volumes. Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, London, William Heinemann Limited 1918. Online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Smith, Tyler Joe, Plant Sows, Demetrius, 18 June, 2018. A Companion to Greek Art. Wiley Blackwell. ISBN 978-1. 4051-8604-9. Robertson N.D., New Light in Demeter's Mysteries. The Festival Petrosia in GRBS 37, 1996, p. 319-379. Servius, Sir A. Grammatici Ferunta in Virgilii Carmina Commentra 2, Volume 3, edited by Georgius Thilo. And Hermannus Hazen, Bibliotheca Tpneriana, Leipzig, Tpno, 1881. Online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Smith, William, Dictionary of Greek and Roman Biography and Mythology, London, 1873, online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Stormethod.b, The Name of Demeter Thesmophorus in GRBS 48, 2008, p. 115-131. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Strabo, The Geography of Strabo. Edition by H.L. Jones. Cambridge, Mass., Harvard University Press. London, William Heinemann, Limited 1924. Online version at the Perseus Digital Library. Tripp, Edward, Crowell's Handbook of Classical Mythology, Thomas Y. Crowell Co., 1st edition, June, 1970. ISBN 0690226008-X. West, M.L. 1983, The Orphic Poems, Clarendon Press Oxford, 1983. ISBN 978-0-19-814854-8. West, M.L. 2007, Indo-European Poetry and Myth, OUP Oxford, 2007. ISBN 978-0-19-928075-9. Google Books. Dalby, Andrew, 2005, The Story of Bacchus, London, British Museum Press, ISBN 0-7151-2255-6. Kerenyi, Carl, 1967. Eleusi, Archetypal Image of Mother and Daughter. Translated by Ralph Manheim. New York City, New York, Pantheon Books. J. Paul Getty Museum, 1983. Greek Vases in the J. Paul Getty Museum. Volume 1. Malibu, California, Getty Publications. ISBN 0-89236-058-5. Archived from the original on 8 February 2023. Retrieved 8 February 2023. External links, edit. Hymn to Demeter, Ancient Greek and English text, interlinear translation edited and adapted from the 1914. Prose translation by Hugh G. Evelyn White, with Greek-English glossary, notes and illustrations. Foley P. Helen, The Homeric Hymn to Demeter, Translation, Commentary, and Interpretive Essays, Princeton. Universe Press, 1994. With Ancient Greek Text and English Translation. Text of Homeric Hymn to Demeter. Online Book of Martin P. Nilsson, Greek Popular Religion. The Political Cosmology of the Homeric Hymn to Demeter. The Sophian Prayer to Demeter. The Warburg Institute Iconographic Database, Images of Demeter. Categories: Demeter, Abundance Goddesses, Agricultural Goddesses, Children of Cronus. Chthonic Beings, Deities in the Iliad, Divine Women of Zeus, Earth Goddesses, Fertility Goddesses. Food Goddesses, Greek Goddesses, Greek Underworld Horse Deities, Justice Goddesses, Chorotrophoi. Metamorphoses, Characters, Mother Goddesses, Mythological Rape Victims, Nature Goddesses. Primordial Teachers, Rape of Persephone, Seasons, Shapeshifters in Greek Mythology, Spring Deities. Nursemaids in Greek Mythology, Supernatural Beings identified with Christian Saints, 12 Olympians. Underworld Goddesses, Women of Helios, Women of Poseidon. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF.